That very question hits at the core of how the market is struggling to come to terms with what Bitcoin is. And many assume it's inflation hedge because that's what they've been told, and because if Bitcoin is digital gold and gold is inflation hedge, then it follows. But there's no evidence of that. Bitcoin hasn't been around long enough to test. Gold certainly has been around long enough, but the actual correlation between gold and inflation is actually quite low. But maybe that doesn't matter because the correlation between Bitcoin and gold is also very low. And in fact, it was negative ever since the middle of the summer up until the beginning of this month. So you can understand the market's confusion, Brian, but there are other
Yeah.
layers to consider as well, one of which we'll be reminded of this weekend, which is the upgrade to the Bitcoin protocol, the upgrade called Taproot. It will be the most significant change to the Bitcoin protocol since the block capacity increase in 2017. It will broaden the potential use case of the technology. And the key is, Brian, that this reminds us all that Bitcoin may be an inflation hedge or it may not, but it is a hard asset as well as a new technology. When last, Brian, did anyone try to upgrade gold?
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you my views if you care, and then you can tell me I'm right or wrong. Number one, I don't like calling them cryptocurrencies. I know everybody does, so I have to say it just because that's otherwise I look weird. But the reality is it's not a currency, because currencies don't move with this kind of volatility up, up, up. I would never pay for anything with Bitcoin because I'll probably lose out on future gains. I mean, I could pay you with a bale of hay if you would accept it, Noel. So, you know, that's kind of how it works. Anything can be used to transact. But also, Bitcoin rose when no one was talking about inflation for years. Inflation started to take off in the spring and Bitcoin fell. How would you react to those two sort of points that I would, if we were debating each Lincoln Douglas debate style, Noel?
The fact that we're even having this conversation, Brian, shows that the market is starting to intensely debate what Bitcoin is. The bottom line is we don't yet know what it is. We know what characteristics it has. Many of us know what we would like it to be. These are obviously my opinions, not those of my employer. Nothing I say is investment advice. But claiming it's an inflation hedge, no evidence for that whatsoever. Claiming that it is likely to be a strong preserver of capital against eventual currency debasement longer term, yes, that does look very likely, simply because, like gold has acted in that role for millennia, Bitcoin has a more provable quantity in circulation. It has a more provable scarcity. It also is easier to access, easier to hold, easier to transport, and has the additional layer on top that we don't yet know what its eventual use case will be. So hard asset, inflation hedge, or a hedge against turmoil, if you like, but also a new technology.